So it becomes our job as Catholic Christians to walk out into the world, to think about each and every way that we can live a prayerful life, to not only aspire to be what God has created us to be, but just as we talked about last night, bringing other people on the journey. Because, my friends, this is the difference between knowing God and knowing God. This is why we can't just take a slice of the pie of our day and carve it out for prayer life. People often say, when do you pray? How much time do you pray? And if we put a big wheel of everything that was going on in our day, we would have sleeping would take up a lot, eating would take up a lot, studying, work, whatever it might be. Our day is filled with so many things. And then there's this little itty-bitty sliver right at the top that usually happens at about 10:58 p.m., where we make it through 3 Hail Marys before. I don't know why Mary likes to put us right to sleep, but she's so comforting, isn't she? But instead of this pie containing just a piece of the pie set aside for prayer, I want us to begin to think about that our prayer life really needs to be the crust of everything that we do. It's simply the crust that holds everything together, so that before you take a test in school that you will say, God, help me do the best that I can today. Help me make my family proud. Or that before we go to work, Lord, you've given me so much. Allow me to glorify you with my talents today. I firmly believe that people walk away from their faith sometimes when their prayer life changes. Sometimes people are very involved in Scripture. They're very involved in the theology of our church. They're very involved in being active in one ministry or the other. But time changes. The companions on our journey change. And that scares people because they're no longer comfortable. How many of I'll ask everybody, has anybody ever asked their parents for something and they said no? Yeah, your hand couldn't go up fast enough. Gold star for you. That was good. Okay, so to our young people, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. So like I'm just talking to you. The adults can't hear me in the room right now. Sometimes we as adults say no, and we don't even know why. But something comes over us in that moment that says we can't say yes. We have to say no. And sometimes it's because God allows us to protect our children through His intervention. Sometimes He's preventing us to say yes so that we can protect you from something that might harm you. I know, it's a hard premise. We'll get to it, don't worry. Sometimes, like if you wanted to go to a party or to a friend's house, that something might happen on the way to the friend's house and God is just protecting you from that happening. So He might tell us to say no. I always say that we can find those everyday miracles in the red light that stops us from getting to the next intersection where something could happen between 2 cars. The phone call that we didn't want to get that makes us late, that really saved us from another interaction with somebody else that wouldn't have been allowing us to be the best version of ourselves. We have something very precious because they can see the fire in us. They can see what prayer has done for us. They see what our faith has done for us, and they want it, and we withhold it from them. I'm begging you tonight, stop withholding it from them. Stop withholding it in our homes. Somebody said to me earlier today, they said, well, you know, Greg, sometimes people don't show up at Mass for missions and things like that because everybody's really busy. And I said, well, I've never heard anybody say that, yeah, my son didn't go to his football game today because he was really busy. My son, we didn't go to the movie this weekend because he was really busy. So why in our faith, why is it that busy all of a sudden gets elevated to some height that we can't reach a relationship with Christ in that moment because we're busy? And they begin to lower him down and they get him to the feet of Jesus, who heals him in that moment. All because his friends didn't care about consequence, pain, timing, or effort. But they fought for him. They never gave up. They didn't stop working for him.